You guys and gals out there with classic cars or trucks, this being a truck, you know this ain't gonna cut it. Dummy lights. No way, no. I need to see what's going on. So we're gonna take this and change it into 1978 Custom Deluxe C10 Chevy. As you saw in the intro, we got dummy lights. I can't do dummy lights. It's already failed me once. We've bought this truck last year. Those of you who've been following the channel, been on for a little bit. I'm not dead. Just been pretty busy. But we did buy this truck last year, beginning of last summer. This is for my youngest son. Just turned 16. Still ain't got his license. We're working on that. But this is his truck, and we need to do some updates to it. Like I said, dummy lights have already failed me once. We were out driving. Motor got overheated. Did not know. Blew the radiator. A little too late to find out. Not even a dummy light worked. So I like to see what's going on in real time. I like to have a gauge for each water temp, oil pressure, voltage, all that good stuff. So we're going to put actual gauges in it so we can see what's going on. And I'll show you what I got. I got a kit here from Glow Shift. Bought it myself. There's a lot of options out there what you want. You can go really cheap, you can go really expensive. This is kind of, I think the whole kit was 600 bucks, plus I had to buy some other little things here and there, but just because I wanted to make things easier. So I'll show you what I got. This is the Glow Shift, and I'm all sweaty, look at that. 7 color series custom, I don't know, 6 gauge kit. And this is for 73 to 87 Chevy C10. GMC probably work too, I don't know. Alright, that is the gauge kit part number. So that'll get you the gauges, and you get whatever gauges, 6 gauges you want. Comes with the bezel, comes with some blank off, so depending on whether you have an AC car or not, AC truck. If you do not have AC, then use these to block off. Comes with lower trim. This is an option you can get with it. Tack filter for HEI. Comes with some screws to screw all your little trash on. Yeah, like I said, you can option this with it or not. I think it's like $30 extra, maybe $7. I don't remember what it was. But for all this, for all that, I believe it was right under 600 bucks. And then I added on the speedometer adapter. And you can get, when you order this, you can get the a GPS speedometer adapter, so you don't have to plug this in. So this just gets rid of the mechanical cable from the transmission to speedometer, and then just adds that in there. You got to wire it in. And then I got a couple of turn signals, a high beam indicator. I've got an adapter because it comes with, this kit also comes with the temp sensor and the oil pressure sensor. And I need this to adapt the oil pressure sensor to the back of the block. Where it sits now, the sensor, I believe it's in one of these boxes here. It hits the back of the intake manifold, so I just need that to raise it up a little bit, make clearance. And then I got just this kit. I really only need the one connector for the tack signal, and then of course I already had the shop manual. I'll need that to find some wires like turn signals, and then I got just some Tessa tape if I need it. Should be a pretty simple install. All that mess, it looks like a lot of wiring. Just looking at the instructions, it looks like pretty plug and play. We'll see. So what I need to do is get the factory gauges out. Just got to take the dash pad off, take the bezel off, and then the gauges come right out. So that's pretty easy. And then we'll get this all lined up, and then we'll go from there. So one thing I do want to note here is where I want to put these gauges over here, because from the driver's seat, you can't see, at least if I move back here, this is more what I see when I'm driving, and I can see that this gauge and this gauge is covered by the steering wheel. So I'm probably going to put fuel and voltage in one of these two, and then water temp and oil pressure in one of these two. That way I can see those without having to move around to see them, the most important ones. So that's just my personal preference. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it just makes sense to me. So we'll get out of here and We'll get her all lined up and built up, and then we'll come back and show you how to put it all in there. Alright, so I got the gauges out, and the first thing to note is you're going to need to use your factory cluster. So I already took the gauges off. Well, the only 2 gauges I had, faceplate. See, I got that right over here. And I saved all this stuff. I'm going to keep it, and you never know. But that's one of the lenses got to come off, then the gauges come out. Well, actually, the lens comes off, then this plate here comes off because the gauges are actually under it, and then the gauges come out. So I got that off. You have to reuse your factory cluster because you need it for this if you still want to use it. I know mine's a little, you know, it's that. But it at least cover up this hole here. I'm not going to be able to get this done today because I'm being OCD. And like I said, I bought some I bought some little LEDs for the turn signals and a high beam indicator. Just looking at this and figuring out how I'm going to wire those in. So here are, you know, these 2 are here for your left, right turn signals, and then this is the high beam bulb. Looking at this, these are your turn signals here. This is your high beam, and this is your ground. Am I even pointing in the right spot? No. These 2 here, this is your left turn signal, right turn signal. This is the ground, and then this one here is for your high beam indicator, and the ground is somewhere over here too. So I could figure out a way to wire all that in, but what I did, I'm just going to, I've already got them ordered, some pigtails that pretty much has this end on it. It's for 194 bulb. This is actually a 194 LED bulb, but what I ordered was just some pigtails with that end on it, so I can just plug them in. We'll wire them to the indicators and then plug them in. We still got to mark up the holes for our wiper switch hole and then headlight switch hole. So I'm probably just going to get some tape on here and make templates out of it and then transfer it to this one. If you look here, yeah, 81 to 87. Get a big hole here for your one of those. I don't know. I don't have a 81. And then see, washer or wiper, and then headlight. This is the 73 to 80. So yeah, it comes with this template. It's supposed to be 1 for 1, but I don't know. We'll see whether it's 1 for 1 or not. But like I said, I'm just continue on here, get the gauges on, get those holes swapped over, and then it'll just be tomorrow. We'll come back and get those pigtails on, and it should just be slapping it in there, putting the battery in, and just making everything work. So let me get started with that. All right, so we got these holes in there. Some mistakes were made, such as here. You can see my hole saw got a little carried away. Not a big deal. This hole is actually undersized from what the template is, so I can get the right size. Actually use a drill press instead of trying to freehand this thing and get that cleaned up. But this hole turned out pretty good. Just laid out my template. Drilled some holes in the corners. Used a Dremel with a straight edge. Just scrap piece of aluminum. Cut those out and then came back with a file to clean them up. So, is it perfect? No, but it is now. Also put the hole down here for the high beam indicator. I wasn't going to put it up here, but I might figure to move it down here with the rest of this trash. Blew these holes out. These just did have cutouts with the right and left indicators, so I blew those out so I could fit these little lights in there. Could have just used the factory cluster, but there's a big gap between this bezel and the actual light source, so I didn't want a bunch of light bleeding through every time my blinkers come up, so I just used the LEDs. But that's what I need those little pigtails for, those lights. So we can get those in. Of course, those are supposed to be in sometime today, later today. I'm not going to be on this all day because it's freaking hot out here. It's already mid-afternoon. I'm sweating. They're coming off. It's hot. We've got to go out here and set these gauges. So, for instance, tachometer. It goes from 1 all the way up to 10 cylinders. We got an 8-cylinder, so we have to go in the back here, tachometer, and you see this little hole here. You got a little knob in there, or a little dial. We need to set that to 8. Right now it's pointing at 2. We clearly don't have a 2-cylinder. We need to point this to 8. I'll get my little screwdriver in there. That's it. 9. And there's 8. So I don't know if you can even see that. Can you even see that? It's this little hole here. You can't probably even see it, but there's an arrow in there. Little notch. Take it up to 8. So I got it on 8. Fuel gauge. And so this GM is 0 empty, 90 ohms full. So we're going to switch here to number 4. So fuel gauge needs to go to 4. And right now it is at, Lord knows, I don't know. Oh, it's at 0. So we need to go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks should be 4. Jeez Louise. And it is at 4. Alright, it's at 4, trust me. Yes, speedometer needs to be adjusted too. So you can see the old pressure doesn't have one yet. These other ones don't have it, it's just these 3. So right now speedometer is at 8. Stock speedometer, locate blah blah blah. GPS, we're not doing a GPS, we're doing a 16-pulse speed sensor, which is this one. While the gauge is unplugged, be sure to switch the setting on the back of the gauge to 4. Alright, so we set that to 4. Speedometer. Right now it's already at 4. Now it's tachometer. Jackass. Alright, it's at 8. So we need to go to 4. So 7, 6, 5, 4. Verify, yep, arrow's at 4. Alright, so that's at 4. Oil pressure sensor, get it all wired in. Actually, those need to be plugged in. It comes with all the harnessing. The only harness I have to build is of course, the lights on the back here for these turn signals and high beams, and then run a wire for it might even actually have a wire run for the tach. I just have to put the balance the table. I just have to put the plug on there. So that's what we're going to do next. So originally what goes here is some kind of vacuum valve. Is probably emission stuff. Got a bunch of vacuum hoses going to it. I got rid of that, cleaned up the vacuum lines, and then I just put in, this is a 1/2 inch to 3/16 bushing. So this is the sensor right here actually. This is the sensor, the chrome or the silver is the sensor that comes with the kit. And I needed it to adapt into here. Can put it down here. This is the original spot for the water temp, which I actually do have a factory temp gauge in there, or temp. I got a factory temp sender in there. Not sure if it's going to work with this or not, so I just use this. So I built this little harness here. It goes to the back of the gauges. Again, this is all this harnessing came from, and all that came with the gauges. So these just plug in, and I cut off what's going to go through the firewall. Made some connections here, so these are going to connect. So let's go through this. This all connects up here. All right, and then these are the lights. These are the connectors. I got these delivered last night. So this is your left turn signal, right turn signal, high beam indicator. And this will just plug right into here for your turn signals, and then high beam indicator. So that's where your normal, that's normally where your bulb's plugged in. And I just got those wired in, and then these just connect. These just connect to your individual gauges, and then it runs down to the back of the cluster, down under the dash, and it connects here. So these connect. This is your power and your ground, connects there. Your signals, and then this is your oil pressure. I guess I could have wired on the signals, but the schematic showed it being independent, so I left it independent. These two wires, this runs to your fuel gauge or your fuel sending wire, and then this goes to your headlights, to dimmer gauges. Then we have this harness, or this leg ground. This is your 12 volt switched, 12 volt constant. This plugs right into the fuse block under the dash, and then this leg right here will be the firewall, and this runs into the engine compartment. It's all tangled, so this goes back to your that sensor on your transmission for your speedometer, and then this runs back to the back of the block, and you have your temp sensor, oil pressure, and then tachometer. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks since, well, you just saw, so that's why I look a little different. Ran into a little problem, that's why it's been a couple weeks. One thing they don't tell you about this kit is you get to destroy this cluster here. So if you don't want to destroy your cluster, you probably don't want this kit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I went to go put this gauge cluster in, and you can see this big gap here. This side, just fine. Gap here, huge gap here. Everything's hitting. This is all hitting up in here. This side is okay-ish. This probably had to come out a little bit up in there, but and these are all not going to work. This is, as the French would say, no bueno. So looks like we're going to take all of this out. All these little cups here. This is just the lighting where the gauges went on the stock one. I've already watered this hole out for the connector to pass through. I think some of this might have to come out a little bit, but not too much. Not this here is going to get completely gutted right here. So like I was saying, if you want to save your original one, I don't think it's going to work, but mine, you can already see this is where the gear indicator mounts to, and it's already broken. This piece broken off right here. I don't know what this is, but this is all gone. It's supposed to be, I'm pretty sure it's where your light mounts to, but it's all gone. So this is not a big loss. Let me get this cluster further destroyed. So stand by. All right, there it is. So this is what you see now. So you can see I cut all these out, hacked the mess out of this down here, cut this down a little bit, cut this. You can see. So if you're trying to reuse this, it ain't gonna happen. Well, I'll get the cluster in and then we'll plug it in and see what happens. So still got to make the connections under the hood too, so we'll see what happens. Where did that harness go? Here it is. So here's the harness I made. Went through the firewall, and I just ran it through where the original speedometer cable would run through. I'm just gonna follow this factory harness around under here, and then up and around, plug it in. Oh, let me get in here. Good thing about these old trucks, just crawl inside. This has to go under the truck to the transmission. Get this through here. Nope, that doesn't go through there. Right through here. Aye. Get down there. Ow. Get down there. Get down there. This goes under here. This goes to water pump, or not water pump. This goes to oil temp. Oil pressure, geez Louise. Some way it fits in here. There it is. This goes to tack. Like so. This goes to water temp. Now I know, that's not ideal for temp sensor, but it'll get swapped. Ooh, I don't want to go like that. As soon as I pull this motor, because it needs a new rear main seal, so it's going to get pulled. Get out of there. Not like that. Motor's going to get pulled. Alright. It's going to get gone through. Because like I said, it's got a lot of miles on it. And the rear main seal leaks like a mug. Alright, I like that better. Guns in the way. Tack's hooked up. Water temp, oil pressure. Oh. Now I need to crawl under and hook up the speedometer, and then we'll see what happens. Well, I don't need a speedometer to see what happens. I need to see if it's going to reduce your speed, so let me crawl under there right quick. Let's get this bad boy plugged in. See what happens. Let me run these through here. This is high beam. Right, left. Oh boy. And then I'll mark these locations back here where the positive lead and grounds go, so I don't put them in right, because LED stuff. And I swear I'm gonna go destroy a tractor. Okay, I don't swear, because probably something's going to happen and they're going to blame me. Alright. Loads of room. Get out of the way. Loads of room in here. Let me get this one. There. Get in there. There. But this is what it looks like with the dash bag in. Radio's not in. I've got something coming for that. Do a show or do an episode on that. Water temp's working. Voltage is working. Oil pressure. Fuel. But that's that. And the fit ain't so great. Like I couldn't get these fasteners in, the factory fastener. I got this one in, barely. That one in. I got those in. The ones on the bottom went in just fine, but it's these are like this thing. I don't remember the factory one's sticking out this far. See how far it sticks out. I mean, it's fine. It's not clanking. It's not rattling. It looks fine. I can get some longer screws put in there, I guess. But that's I mean, it's going to do what I need it to do. Would I suggest it? Sure. If you're looking for a budget. And some nice analog gauges. It's pretty much plug and play. Oh, I'm hotter than a mess. Whew. So I got all this done. I can't take it out and drive it. The nipple that goes here was bent. Well, god dang it. Gonna find some worse camera work. This hose connects to a nipple here. The nipple was bent, and it was causing water to leak out, and I could squeeze this hose and I could hear it blowing in. That's how I found it. And then I went to take it out to see if I could, unbooger it. You want to make sure the socket had a good bite, and I went the wrong way. Okay? I broke it off. So, Now I've got it cleaned up. I got to read the tap and die set. And then to tap that out, get a new nipple. Important for that, then we can take it out and take it for a drive and see how off the speedometer is. If you're looking for something on a budget, it looks, fairly modern. It's got, all the modern, and it's plug and play. Yeah. If you don't want to destroy your factory cluster, no. Probably save a little bit more and go get you a Dakota digital set. That's probably not gonna. I'll probably end up just putting a Dakota in there, anyways, because later on I've got to completely rewire that thing. I got to completely gut it and rewire that. As old harnesses are and those old fuses. So I'm just going to take all that out and rewire it with a painless kit. I'd like to do some updates on it, maybe put power seats in it, power windows. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Lots of ideas. It's my son's truck. We'll see what he wants to do with it, but yeah, I'm definitely going to put a wire kit in there. I don't want this thing catching fire. Not that wire harness is bad. That wire harness is pretty. It's like I said earlier. Besides, a couple wires I had to repair just from chafing. It's uncut, untouched. So, boys, ain't much else to say. I appreciate you checking it out. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, just comment. I might get around to them. It's been a minute since I've been able to look at my comments, but like I said, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. If you got any questions about it, ask me. I don't know if I covered everything. I don't know. But appreciate you, and we'll holler at you next time.